Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl, and today I'm doing the end of year book tag. This book tag was created quite a long time ago by Ariel Bissett, and it's meant to be not the end of the year tag where you go over what you've read for the whole year, but just one last tag before the very end of the year to think about the things that you still want to accomplish. On the Books Unbound podcast a couple of weeks ago, they revisited this tag, and so I kind of wanted to also do this tag this month. There's 6 questions. Number 1, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, I have a few, actually. I started the Charles Spurgeon book, Joy in Christ's Presence, a few months ago, and I still haven't finished that. I am doing a reread of the Bible, and I want to finish the Bible before the end of the year. There's another couple of books that are more for a project, so I'm not going to say what they are now, but those are ones I need to finish. And then all of the books that I still need to read for my British literature course I'm doing. I have a few books I need to finish for that. One of them that is a priority is Mere Christianity. I really want to read that again before the end of this year. Number 2, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I was trying to think what that would mean if there was just one book that was taking me into the end of the year, but I'm just reading a lot of books. So I guess I don't really have one that is transitioning me to the end of the year. I would say that my next book club pick with my mom is a Christmas book, The Christmas at Sugar Plum Manor by Rosanna M. White. We're going to be reading in November, so that will be taking us into December, so kind of. Number 3, is there a new release you're still waiting for? I pre-ordered Tea for Elephants. That hasn't got here yet. The Christmas one I just talked about, that was something I had pre-ordered that was a new release, and we haven't read it yet, so I am still waiting to read it. Number 4, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Okay, that kind of is like the first one. I guess the first one is books that I started that I need to finish. So I did cover that. 3 that I want to read before the end of the year. The ones that I have to for sure are that book club book, so Christmas at Sugar Plum Manor. And then Alma and I just talked about buddy reading We Were the Lucky Ones. So I for sure am going to be reading that before the end of the year. And then I want to read In This Moment. That is another priority. So I will say those 3. Number 5, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I don't know. I feel like if I knew the answer to that, it wouldn't shock me. So I would say In This Moment might, because I've heard so many good things about it, and I really liked the first one. I have this book, The Orb and the Airship. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, but I saw it on something, I don't even remember what, and it sounded really interesting to me. So I guess that would shock me if that became my favorite of the year, since it's one I don't know much about, but it seems like something I would really enjoy. Other than that, most of the books that I think might end up being my favorite of the year, they wouldn't shock me. And number 6, the last question, have you already started making reading plans for 2025? And yes, I have. I do tend to get really excited for what is coming next and start planning pretty early. So, in September I was planning October's reading. October I'm starting to plan November and December's reading. I think a lot of us do that. I have already started thinking about my reading journal for next year. This year I did a bunch of the reading challenges from other people, but I also had my personal reading challenge of the British literature course that I'm doing, and then my reading of all of the Sherlock Holmes books. So I'm hoping to finish the British literature course by the end of this year. If not, it'll be at the beginning of next year. And then I'm either going to go into a world literature or an American literature one. I haven't decided yet. So one of those will be in the plans for next year. And then I have picked an author that I want to read next year. Unless it changes before then, I am planning on reading all of Agatha Christie's books next year. And most of them would be rereads. I have a book that lists all of her books in chronological order, and I got a biography about her. And so that got me thinking about it. And I thought it would be really fun to start the biography in January and then each month have a few books that I'm reading. I would have to see exactly how many there are, and I might pick and choose and not read some of them that I've already read if I know that they weren't my favorite ones, or even if they're ones that I've read maybe multiple times and didn't feel like reading again. But that is one of my goals that I already think I'm going to be doing next year. And I do know we'll do the Back to Hogwarts readathon next September again. I am a planner, and I do love thinking about the things I'm going to do, and I love setting up planners. So that is definitely something that is already in my mind, but I won't be working on those plans completely until probably December. I don't think this one is one you tag people in, so if you're watching this, I would love to see a video of your end of the year book tag.